AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, but when I look back on my past, I realized I never had much determination. See, I was born to a drug addict mom and an alcoholic dad, and whenever I was bad, my dad would always beat me with whatever was in sight with all of his might, so I'd lay there consistently night after night after night, scared, confused, trapped, and alone, because back then, home never really felt like home. And I couldn't have been any older than age 4, but I remember one night in particular where my dad, he busted through the door, drunk and angry, and immediately I knew what that meant. My skin was about to turn to a darker shade of black and blue. But this time, he didn't take it out on me. He took it out on my mommy, and I stood there and screamed, "Daddy, please," because still to this day, I believe my mom didn't deserve what she got just because she couldn't satisfy Daddy's needs. And that was the last night I spent there, under their care, because I was awoken by the loud sounds of sirens and the desperate screams of my mother as they took her and my father away. And I can still replay that night over and over and over in my head, and I probably will until the day that I'm dead. And I can still envision the social worker looking at all my scars. She asked me if I was okay, and in all honesty, I didn't really know what to say. So the next day, I was dropped off to a foster family. And things, they started looking up, but not for long. It was only a matter of time before the abuse resurfaced. So of course, I thought there had to be something wrong with me. What was it that I couldn't see? I hated myself, and I hated everyone around me. I lived in this tiny ball of misery, and I rambled on this path for year after year. And with each passing moment, it's like a part of me disappeared, but to feel again was my heart's deepest fear. I was adopted in '09, and for a while, my adopted mother, she seemed perfectly fine, until she signed those papers, and at that point I realized I was no longer mine. I was her property. She constantly told me how much she hated me, how I was a disgrace, and how I could have never been what I wanted to be in the first place. Those words, they echoed so loudly through my ears, and every single night I cried my own river of tears, because all I ever wanted was to have a mother and father who held me near. But instead, I was so lost in this world with people I hated and things I feared. And then in 2014, we moved to Claremont, and I thought that was going to be the start of something new. But it wasn't. She would still slap me across my face. Everything was the same, just a different place. And I honestly couldn't take it anymore, so I became a fugitive on the run. I ran away even when I didn't have a place to stay. But I made up my mind I wasn't going back because I knew that mentally, physically, spiritually, and psychologically I was under attack. I knew I had to flee that situation. But at that point, I had no motivation. I was too scared she would come for me, but she never did. Apparently, she never really saw me as her kid. She just wanted that paycheck, but she didn't realize the wreck she left on my life. So ultimately, I turned to the knife. I thought suicide would have been my only way out. I didn't realize that there was a better route. So when I heard about this program named AVID, I decided to give it a try. I thought that maybe if I go to college, if I get a degree, if I go to a 4-year university, then maybe my mom would be proud of me. Maybe she would see that there was at least a little greatness in me. So I was accepted into the program 8th grade year, and I thought AVID would just open the door to college, but it was so much more than that. My 8th grade AVID teacher, Miss Hoadley, became the mother I never had. She saw things in me that I couldn't see. She birthed a dream in me, and now I can see that AVID is more than Cornell notes, Socratic seminars, and tutorials. It's more than a class. It's a class that teaches you how to chase your dreams, even when it seems like you're at the end of your rope, just to know that rope does not dictate the prospect of hope. When I look at my life now, compared to back then, I do realize that I'm not in the same place I was in, and although many didn't have good things to say, I now look at my grades and I have a 4.8 GPA. Nothing or nobody can get me down because I'm walking on clouds and I forget what it feels like to walk on the ground. I even have dreams of becoming a psychiatrist, and yes, even owning my own psychiatric hospital. And I know that it's possible because AVID taught me that nothing is impossible with hard work and determination. So to those with dreams of making it, I came from nowhere. I walked up to the walls and started breaking it. AVID picked me up and pushed me on, even when I had teachers who sometimes stood me on. AVID taught me the circumstances, they can be changed. Situations, they could be rearranged. That we as individuals, we need to look in that mirror and get over the fear, because this is Avid. This is a place where students can be empowered. This is a place where we stomp the status quo. That even when the world says stop, that even when the world says stop, that even when the world says stop because of our background, we say go. This is a place where failure, it means success. Where we're encouraged every single day to give nothing but our best. This is a place that teaches you don't have to be in the same place you were born in because you were born to win. Avid taught me that I'm a fighter, so let's spark up the torch and illuminate the lighter. We'll let our light shine brighter and brighter because this is Avid.